Motorsport TV Live, brought to you by Motorsport Tickets, the dedicated motorsport experiences provider.
Hello and welcome to Motorsport TV Live with me, Bryn Lucas, bringing you all the latest stories from around the world of motorsport. Lewis Hamilton is branded a superhero after a win in Qatar. Christian Horner accused of overstepping the mark after his Qatar comments, and there's confirmation of a Dakar Rally run for Molly Taylor. All those stories and more coming up here on Motorsport TV Live. We start though with yet more twists in the closest Formula One drivers' battle for years. The Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff labelling Lewis Hamilton a superhero for coming through what he called adversity to win the Qatar Grand Prix from pole on Sunday. Max Verstappen recovered from a 5-place grid penalty to go from 7th to 2nd, with Fernando Alonso making a welcome return to the podium after 105 races to take 3rd. Motorsport.com's F1 editor John Noble joined us a little earlier and agreed that when the pressure is on, Hamilton often rises to the occasion.
I think we said this after Brazil, that we see this quite often in Lewis's career, that when his back's against the wall, when you think everything's working against him, when he's completely down, is often when we see the best of Lewis. If you recall, one of his greatest race wins was the 2008 British Grand Prix. He'd arrived there, lots of negativity. The season wasn't going very well, a wet race, everything going against him, and he was absolutely supreme. And Toto Wolff says that what happened on the Friday in Brazil, when Lewis was disqualified for the DRS, put to the back of the grid at a time when the championship, many right off the championship say, well, that's it then. Max starts from pole in the sprint race, Lewis starts from the back, game over. But Toto says it woke the lion up in Lewis. It's made him more determined. It's made him cold-blooded. It's made him ruthless. He came through to win there. He was absolutely supreme yesterday. And we've seen for the first time as well, I think if you're Red Bull, be slightly concerned that perhaps for the first time since the Spanish Grand Prix, Mercedes have been outpacing Red Bull now. They're winning on pure merit. It doesn't involve incidents too much. The pace is there. Lewis is on top form. And now we're heading potentially to one or two tracks that may favour the Mercedes more than the Red Bull.
Mercedes is to bring Lewis Hamilton's more powerful Brazil engine back into play for Formula One's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in a bid to help his title push. With a high-speed Saudi layout expected to favour the Mercedes, the team has confirmed that it will unleash Hamilton's best power unit for the encounter. Hamilton now only trails rival Max Verstappen by 8 points in the Drivers' Championship after his lights-to-flag Qatar win. Following yesterday's race, Toto Wolff said the long straights in Saudi mean it's the right time for them to get what he called their spicy equipment out. The engine is the new one that Hamilton used at the Brazilian Grand Prix, with it able to run at higher power settings because it's so fresh and therefore does not have to last the normal duration of other power units. FIA Formula One race director Michael Masi believes Red Bull boss Christian Horner has overstepped the mark following criticism of volunteer officials in Qatar. Horner was called to the stewards after mentioning a rogue marshal in a TV interview when discussing the Q3 yellow flag incident that led to Max Verstappen earning a 5-place grid penalty. Masi made it clear that he wanted to set a precedent and said he would defend every volunteer official. He also confirmed that he was the one who referred the matter to the stewards after being informed of Horner's comments. Horner later apologised and was given a warning, and he also agreed to take part in a stewards training programme that takes place early next year. We asked John Noble about the Horner controversy and whether his comments are a reflection of the pressures of a tight championship race.
It's quite interesting because in the steward's statement explaining the reasons for the decision and the reasons they handed out a warning to Christian for his behaviour, Christian claimed that these comments were made under the pressure of the championship, which is a very interesting admission to make. But when he was pushed later on it, saying, so are you feeling the pressure of the championship? He insisted he wasn't feeling the pressure of the championship. So I think these are tense times for everybody. The entire championship season now is resting on these final races. I can't recall a weekend like Qatar where we've had such a political fighting off the track of the theatrics of a Friday press conference, the controversy over the Brazil Turn 4 incident, the controversy over the Mercedes DRS, the controversies over the Mercedes rear wing and Red Bull's allegations, the emergence of this photograph that Red Bull believed showed these score marks on the rear wing that Toto Wolff then said is a ghost. Nothing is not what they're seeing. Then we have Christian Horner's comments with the stewards. Just an amazing weekend. I think that this is the intensity and pressure of a championship battle like we haven't seen for a very, very long time.
Controversies galore. It was John Noble giving us his thoughts earlier on. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got lots more from the world of motorsport, including reaction to Toprak Razgatlioglu's first World Superbike title. That's coming up here on Motorsport TV Live. Some great opportunities there for motorsport fans to get even closer to the action. Honda team boss Alberto Puig says the marque is still far from being ready with its 2022 MotoGP bike following the recent Jerez test, but noted the conclusions are positive. Honda failed to win a race in 2020 for the first time ever since it returned to the Premier Class full-time in 1982. And though Marc Marquez won 3 Grand Prix this year despite still recovering from a serious arm injury, the RC213V proved to be a problematic bike. All of the riders struggled with a lack of rear grip, which had a knock-on effect of hampering them into the corners as well as exiting them. As a result, Honda unveiled a radically different RC213V prototype for 2022 at the Misano test in September and continued developing it last week at the post-season Jerez test. Honda factory team rider Pol Espargaro says the rear grip missing from the 2021 bike has been delivered with the new prototype, though notes the front end suffers more now. Newly crowned World Superbike champion Toprak Razgatlioglu says winning his first title carries extra meaning because it came after beating 6-time world champion Jonathan Rea in what he called an incredible season-long fight. Yamaha rider Razgatlioglu secured the title with a second-place finish behind Rea's Kawasaki in the first of 2 races in a weather-affected season finale weekend at Indonesia's Mandalika circuit. Well, Motorsport.com news editor Jamie Klein gave us his thoughts on the win and the impact this season will have on World Superbikes.
It was almost a perfect season. If, you'd probably even say that the second Indonesia race, where I think Toprak was 4th in the full wet conditions, was probably maybe his weakest showing of the whole year. And of course, he'd already won the title by that point, so he can be forgiven for having an off race. And of course, it seemed at one point that race wasn't even going to go ahead because the rain was so bad. I think it was delayed for about 90 minutes. So of course, it's not a surprise that some riders perhaps were not able to get back into that racing mindset as quickly as others. But yeah, I mean, over the course of the season, just an amazing run of form and a real deserving champion. And even Rea admitted it in his post-race interview in Indonesia. He took his hat off to the work that he's done, that Yamaha's done, the Crescent Racing team that is behind that works Yamaha operation as well. And he just admitted that they deserved it. And I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone in the paddock that would disagree. Yeah,
I think you're right. Also, it's interesting to see Jonathan Rea saying he actually made him improve as a rider as well, didn't he? So with Toprak, he signed a 2-year extension to his contract with Yamaha. He hasn't ruled out going to MotoGP at some point in the future. But for Yamaha, taking their first title since 2009, they must be rubbing their hands together now.
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation that he will go to MotoGP potentially in 2023. And again, in his press conference in Indonesia, he didn't do much to dispel those rumours, and he is supposed to be testing the M1 MotoGP bike at some point. But at least we have one more season of, I'm sure it's going to be another fantastic battle between Toprak and Johnny Rea. And as you mentioned, Rea is going to be even more determined than ever. I think he has been push to greater heights this season. And I think if Kawasaki can find a little bit of time over the winter to get the ZX-10RR, maybe back on more of an even keel, it's going to be a fabulous battle, and there's going to be a new dimension because, this will be Ray trying to win back the crown and Toprak trying to defend it. And so it will be the first time, I suppose, that Ray won't be the overwhelming favourite, which he has been, more or less since his first season with Kawasaki. So that's going to be a real interesting prospect as well.
Jamie Klein there talking to us a little bit earlier on. Australian rally champion Molly Taylor is set to make her Dakar Rally debut in January 2022. Taylor will be paired with Dale Moscat for the famous rally raid with the South Racing Can-Am factory team. This will follow after her currently successful Extreme E campaign with Rosberg X Racing, in which she currently holds the most points with teammate Christopherson. Taylor described the series as having been a catalyst for her off-road career. The 2022 Dakar Rally will start in Saudi Arabia on January the 2nd. Well, that's all for now. I'm Bryn Lucas. Join us again here on Motorsport TV Live for all the latest news from the world of motorsports. Bye for now.